Today, I want to sit down and do a serious review of KOF, The Strongest, a game that I actually spent a lot of time playing and analyzing, not just rushing through a few stages and giving random impressions. And solemnly speaking, this is honestly one of the most seriously made mobile games based on a legendary IP that I've seen so far. Before we start, I want to say that this video is sponsored by x7game, an app that specializes in providing mobile games with massive discounts, with some games discounted up to 99% compared to normal top ups. You just download the app, enter the game name, and you can find the game you want. I always leave the download link in the description below. I'll talk more specifically about x7game at the end of the video, but for now, let's jump straight into the main topic. I want to start from the roots so that even people who don't know what KOF is can still understand the context. The King of Fighters is a franchise created by SNK back in 1994, and if you ever played arcade or console games when you were younger, then this name is definitely not unfamiliar to you. KOF is not just a normal fighting game, it's an icon. The story revolves around the biggest martial arts tournament in the world, like where the strongest fighters gather to battle each other and supernatural forces like Orochi. Names like Kusanagi, Iori Yagami, Leona, and Mai Shiranui, these are not just normal game characters. They are part of an entire generation's gaming culture. So what makes KOF the strongest different from what we already know about this franchise? The first and most obvious answer when you open the game is the visual style. And I want to say this directly. This was a bold design decision, and in my opinion, the right one. Every character in KOF the Strongest has been mofied, meaning they were redesigned with a cute, chibi, modern anime style. Kyo Kusanagi, instead of his usual aggressive expression from the arcade versions, now appears with softer artwork, with chibi-style body proportions, while still keeping his iconic white outfit and unmistakable hairstyle. Iori, with his red hair and purple jacket, is still there. The wild instinct of this character is still reflected through the animations and expressions. It's just wrapped inside a newer artistic style. And Mai Shiranui is still Mai Shiranui, just a slightly cuter version. What truly impressed me is that SNK absolutely did not compromise on the audio design. Every character voice line uses the original voice acting from SNK's Seiyu cast. Iori's insane laugh whenever he attacks, Kyo's shout when he launches his skills, all of that is preserved 100%. And for me, this is exactly the difference between a game that was made seriously and a game that simply borrows a famous brand name to make money. SNK genuinely sat down and decided that old fans needed to feel connected to the things they originally loved. Now I want to talk about the gameplay, because this is the part that most clearly separates the people who will enjoy this game from the people who will be disappointed. KOF. The Strongest is not a fighting game in the traditional sense. If you expect complicated input combinations like the old arcade days, then this is not what you're looking for. But if you view it as its own genre optimized for mobile, then I think you'll find its mechanics genuinely interesting. The core combat system of the game is based around QTE, Quick Time Events. In every battle, you manage a team made up of multiple characters, and the key point is understanding the right timing to activate skills in sequence. When you do it correctly, you'll see extremely satisfying skill animations. Orochinagi, Yaotome, Hao Shoko Ken, the signature moves of the KOF series, are recreated with beautiful effects and a real sense of impact. The interesting thing here is that you don't need insanely complex finger mechanics, but you still need to read the battle and decide when to activate skills in order to maximize your damage. But the strategy aspect does not stop there. The positioning system in the game actually forces you to think carefully about team building. You cannot just throw the strongest characters together and call it a day. The game has a bond system between characters. And when you combine characters who are connected in the original lore, hidden stats will be activated. For example, if you run a team with both Kyo and Iori, two sworn enemies in the lore, the game reflects this relationship through special stat bonuses. I think this is smart game design because it rewards players who understand the lore while also creating genuine strategic depth. As for the content side, the game has a pretty layered PvE system. There are story stages that recreate the classic KOF tournaments, and I genuinely like this part because it gives you the feeling of reliving important moments from the franchise. Besides that, there are trials, female fighter dungeons, and tower challenge modes where you can farm resources in different ways. Most importantly, the game has an idle system, meaning even when you are offline, your characters continue collecting resources. I know a lot of people debate this mechanic, but for a mobile game, the reality is that it reduces the grinding pressure significantly, and I appreciate that. Now about the gacha and character system. This is the part where I want to be the most direct. The game uses an SSR character gacha system, and the highest tier characters absolutely create a noticeable difference in combat, especially in PvP. Um, I do not want to pretend that this is a completely free-to-play game where you never need to invest anything. But the big advantage here is that x7game has a discounted top-up system, meaning if you do decide to spend, you get far more value compared to normal top-ups. And inside the x7game app, when you enter this game, there are already gift codes available for free starting resources. You just need to go into the gift section inside the app and you'll find everything there. I'm not listing them here because they update continuously. One thing I want to emphasize for people who played KOF on PC or console, do not expect this to be an equivalent experience. KOF, the strongest, is a product built specifically for mobile with its own design philosophy, and it is not trying to compete with KOFX Fighting or the arcade versions. Instead, it creates its own niche, a strategy RPG with a familiar IP, cute Moe-style visuals, and QTE mechanics that are accessible to everyone. And within that niche, I think the game succeeds. What I really want you to pay attention to when looking at the gameplay on screen is the animation quality. The frames when skills are activated, especially the ultimate skills, look extremely smooth and polished. The fire effects on Kyo's attacks, the purple lighting from Iori's abilities, the way the screen slows down at exactly the right moment to emphasize the impact of an attack. These details show that the dev team genuinely cared about the player's visual experience. The music also deserves recognition. The game uses rearranged tracks from the original KOF soundtrack, and I think this works far better than simply using generic mobile game music. When you enter an important battle and hear that familiar KOF guitar riff playing, it genuinely creates a feeling. This is what real fan service looks like, not just slapping the SNK logo onto something and calling it a day. As for game balance, from my experience, the PvE side is relatively beginner-friendly. The early story stages do not require an overpowered roster to clear. PvP will obviously become much more competitive once you climb to higher ranks, but understanding the bond mechanics and positioning system can still partially compensate for differences in character strength. Overall, I think KOF The Strongest is a game worthy of having the SNK name behind it. It is not a perfect game. No game is perfect, but it is a product made with respect for the original IP, with genuinely deep gameplay systems, and with presentation quality that stands above most mobile games based on classic franchises. If you are a KOF fan, this is something you should try at least once. And if you have never known KOF before, this is also not a bad entry point to explore the universe of this franchise. Going back briefly to x7game, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you want to experience KOF The Strongest with the most optimized spending possible, then this is exactly the place to do it. This platform has been operating professionally for more than 9 years, cooperating directly with official publishers to provide top-up discounts that you simply will not find anywhere else. There are periods where discounts reach up to 99% compared to normal top-ups, and there are daily no minimum coupons available for players. The game you need to search for is KOF The Strongest, with a size of around 438 megabytes. And inside the app, there are already gift codes and beginner benefits waiting for you. The download link is in the video description below. Thank you for watching until the end. If you found this video helpful, leave a comment and let me know which character you are playing, Team Kyo or Team Iori. I'm always curious to hear everyone's answer to that question. See you again in the next video.